R. Kelly was giving an additional dose of medication by prison staff. And they're alleging that because of that additional medication that he was instructed to take and that he actually took, he suffered a overdose.
Prison officials want R. Kelly dead. You heard me. The government, they say, has put a target on the singer in prison.
Is that Mr. Kelly was about to expose some facts that would be extremely inflammatory and damaging.
Can't be a politician. I'm too real. I don't even talk about it. That's the best thing.
Never?
No. Never.
Prison officials allegedly want R. Kelly gone, for real. You heard that right. There's now talk that the government itself put a target on the singer while he's locked up. R. Kelly was just rushed to the hospital after what looks like a poison attempt, and his legal team says he's in serious danger. His lawyer's calling it a murder plot, and guess whose name is getting dragged right into the middle of it? JayZ and his entire Roc Nation empire. Kelly's lawyer says the man who was paid to take him out actually confessed.
Mr. Stein, in his declaration, has set forth the reason that was given. The reason is that Mr. Kelly was about to expose some facts that would be extremely inflammatory and damaging to the Bureau of Prisons and the Department of Justice. And he told us in extraordinary detail that this is not the first instance that this happens all the time.
According to him, someone powerful sent him, someone who knew R. Kelly was sitting on secrets that could destroy some of the biggest names in the game, and sitting right at the top of that hit list, JayZ, a former close friend of Kelly. But this ain't even the first time someone's pointed fingers at Jay. Kelly's former cellmate, Ronnie Bo, once claimed that Kelly said JayZ tried to sacrifice him.
If it could have been some Illuminati sacrifice type shit. I don't know. He don't know. You know what I mean? But that's how he felt.
Wild, right? See, Jay and Kelly were tight back in the day, but when everything hit the fan, Jay claimed he had no clue what Kelly was up to with those girls.
Have you maintained any type of contact with R. Kelly since?
We spoke, like, you know what I'm saying? We spoke a couple times, but I don't really want to be like, I know he's getting calls from everywhere and I mean, if he's guilty, I just hope and pray that he get help. If he's not, I wish everybody, you know what I'm saying, everybody embrace him, you know, and whatever.
Still, people inside the industry are saying otherwise. They're saying JayZ was involved in some of the same shady behavior. And things just got crazier. Nas recently spoke out about Jay's connection to Kelly's criminal mess. But the second Kelly hinted he was ready to expose people, boom, he nearly dies after taking meds from prison guards. So what's the real deal? Why do some folks want R. Kelly silenced for good? What does he really know? And why does Roc Nation keep popping up in these dark cover-up conversations? This story is getting real messy, and JayZ might be sweating for a reason.
He felt like, on one of the shows, one of the events when they was in Madison Square Garden, prior to that event, he said like the days before the event, he was getting death threats that he felt like was coming from JayZ. Like JayZ was trying to basically, it may sound outrageous, but he felt like JayZ wanted to get him killed for whatever reason. I don't know if it could have been some Illuminati sacrifice type shit. I don't know. He don't know. You know what I mean? But that's how he felt.
Breaking update on the attempted murder plot against R. Kelly. His lawyer just confirmed that Kelly ended up hospitalized after prison staff gave him meds that triggered a severe, dangerous reaction. According to his legal team, R. Kelly had been begging for medical help for months, complaining about symptoms that could have been deadly. But instead of getting real treatment, he was allegedly ignored and then hit with a heavy dose of meds that almost took him out.
So they say that R. Kelly woke up allegedly on June 13th and he felt faint. He was dizzy. He started to see black spots. He got up and he fell. He crawled to the door of the cell and he lost consciousness then. At that point, he was placed on a gurney. He was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital because they tried to take him to the hospital inside of or associated with the facility that he's in, but they couldn't help him, so they took him to an outside hospital. Now, they say in addition to this incident, this overdose, right, they're also pointing to the fact that R. Kelly allegedly has been asking for months to get some medical attention to a swollen leg. R. Kelly's legal team says that once he was taken to the hospital for this overdose situation, R. Kelly brought up the swollen leg, and they alleged that doctors there then took a look at the swollen leg and they found blood clots in R. Kelly's right leg, allegedly, in his left leg, and his lungs, allegedly. But his legal team alleges that once the prison was contacted, R. Kelly was then removed against his will by guards and was not allowed to be treated.
Now, this doesn't look like some innocent medical mix-up. It's looking way more intentional. But before we dive into how JayZ and Roc Nation are being tied to this whole mess, let's rewind to what went down. Court documents obtained by USA Today reveal that right after Kelly was thrown into solitary confinement, prison staff handed him a much higher dose of medication than he normally gets for anxiety and sleep. We're talking about enough to almost cause an overdose, and that's what landed him in the hospital on June 13th. Even worse, Kelly was reportedly forced out of Duke University Hospital in Durham, North Carolina, even though doctors were saying he shouldn't be moved. His lawyers are now calling it exactly what it looks like, a targeted hit.
In terms of proof, the most powerful piece of proof I can provide is the sworn statement of the man who says that he was solicited to kill R. Kelly. Michael Glenn Stein has provided us with a full declaration signed, and he's given his willingness to sit down for a polygraph examination administered by either side to testify in court. He has given us the details of who solicited him and when. And I think that's the key here. These are not R. Kelly's allegations. These are the allegations being made by Michael Glenn Stein, who's the person who says that he was solicited to kill Robert and sent to Butner to do it.
And this came just days after Kelly literally begged the court to release him from prison, saying his life was in danger. He even alleged that another inmate had been paid to kill him. On June 11th, his lawyer, Bobby Brindley, released a statement to USA Today saying, "Federal officers have solicited the murder of R. Kelly because he intends to expose the corruption underlying his federal prosecutions." Brindley later told News Nation that they've got a sworn statement from an inmate named Michael Stein, who says he was offered early release in exchange for taking Kelly out. So why now? Why try to eliminate R. Kelly at this point? His lawyer says it plain and simple. Kelly knows too much. And he was about to start naming names, powerful people, possibly even government connected, who do not want their secrets getting out. Now here's where JayZ's name gets pulled right into the fire. According to R. Kelly's lawyer, the man who was sent to kill Kelly straight up said in his sworn statement that this wasn't the first time someone tried to take Kelly out. And this lines up with something we heard a while back from Kelly's former cellmate, Ronnie Bowe. During a sit-down with Hip Hop News Uncensored, Ronnie spilled on the wild fallout between R. Kelly and JayZ during their Best of Both Worlds tour. According to Ronnie, Kelly felt Jay was insecure about sharing the spotlight and allegedly did everything he could to sabotage Kelly behind the scenes.
And then he just said how much conflict they was experiencing with each other, like even during the process of putting the album together, but especially on tour, you know, like they kept having petty disagreements. And he felt like, you know, JayZ, you know, kept saying things along the lines that, like, man, you not bigger than me. Like you act like you bigger than me. And he felt like JayZ was kind of insecure because R. Kelly at the time was technically bigger than him. Yeah.
But hold up, this is where things really start sounding sinister. Ronnie said Kelly was already getting threats while touring with JayZ, and Kelly was convinced Jay wasn't just trying to ruin his career. He believed JayZ wanted to sacrifice him. And it doesn't stop there. Ronnie Bowe claimed he was supposed to appear on The Breakfast Club to air all this out. But guess what? He said JayZ shut it down and blocked his appearance before it ever happened.
Jay a pretty powerful dude in that industry, you know what I mean? And I'm experiencing that now because I was supposed to be setting up an interview with The Breakfast Club, and they said that iHeart wouldn't allow me to do it because of the publicity surrounding my name, man. You know, it may sound far-fetched, but I know that JayZ has connections to where he could blacklist me.
But wait, it gets even deeper. Ronnie hinted at what could be the real reason JayZ allegedly wants Kelly silenced forever, saying that Kelly's not the only one with a past people want to keep hidden. He even mentioned the well-known case involving R. Kelly and the late Aaliyah, saying folks have always known Kelly had a pattern with young girls, but he wasn't alone in that behavior. And according to Ronnie, JayZ has some things he definitely doesn't want exposed.
R. Kelly pointed out to me is that, like, he basically was saying, like, just look at how hard they coming down on me with all that go on in the industry, and look at how they never said nothing about how when JayZ was messing with Foxy Brown, she was 15. You know, everybody knew that, but nobody ever bashed him about it like they bashing me over Aaliyah. And he was basically saying he never even really messed with Aaliyah on the level that everybody think, you know, he messed with her on.
But what nobody really wants to say out loud is this: JayZ was allegedly messing with Aaliyah too, just like R. Kelly, and even had ties to Foxy Brown when she was still young. Now don't get it twisted. No one's claiming R. Kelly is innocent here. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, recently came forward and said straight up, the whole industry knows what JayZ was doing, but everybody's too scared to speak on it.
He kept his mother mouth closed. Because everybody in the industry, they not going to tell you. They not going to get out and say nothing because we have this no snitching, no telling the truth, or don't say nothing type of culture. But everybody know in the industry that JayZ was talking to young girls. See, I know in 99 and early 2000, he was dealing with Beyonce. I didn't know JayZ was 30 years old, though. And Beyonce was 17 and 18. See, Jack could have told it, but I saw it. Personally, I was there. At the clubs. At Eugene's. At the next games. Or Miss Gang, somebody say, yeah, that's too old, Gene. Yeah, I'll beat him up. I talked to my daughter, he that old. She's 17, 18 years old, in his 30s. Oh, don't let me catch you.
Still, there have been a few people bold enough to call JayZ out, and Nas is at the top of that list. Nas has always been one of the few who kept it real, and he once called JayZ out directly during an appearance on Wendy Williams' radio show. Nas didn't mince words. He claimed Jay knew exactly what R. Kelly was doing and just stood there like it was no big deal. Wendy even chimed in and said anyone working with Kelly back then had to have seen something shady and just chose to ignore it. But Nas wasn't about to let that slide. He went even harder, saying he wasn't buying Jay's whole "I didn't know" excuse. In Nas's eyes, if JayZ stuck around long enough to do an entire joint album with Kelly, chances are he wasn't just turning a blind eye, he was probably doing the same dirt.
That's not what I'm going to do. Yeah, I could have put up movies, I could have showed the R. Kelly video that everybody's talking about, made fun of it, and said, yeah, Jay's hanging out. When Jay and them was in there doing Best of Both Worlds, you can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. No. You can't tell me, you want to sit here and tell me that working on that album, that he ain't never seen a 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity?
My belief is that anybody who's worked with him and been in his cipher has seen it go down.
And I pray for him. But if I sit there and did an album about women with him, I'm definitely maybe indulging. He had to be indulging some 14-year-olds, man.
And if that's true, it would explain why JayZ allegedly wants R. Kelly silenced for good, because if Kelly talks, he might just drag Jay down with him. Kelly's lawyer said it loud and clear. Someone was paid to take Kelly out, not just to shut him up about celebrities, but because he's sitting on damaging info about the feds, the prison system, and even the Department of Justice. That's a serious level of threat. So now the big question is, how does JayZ fit into all of this? Well, here's where the puzzle pieces start to lock in. JayZ has deep ties to government insiders, and the link is his right-hand woman and president of Roc Nation, Desiree Perez. And guess what? Desiree ain't just a music exec. She's a former federal informant. Here's the scoop. According to court documents obtained by the New York Daily News, Desiree got busted back in 1994 with 35 kilos and a conspiracy charge for distributing illegal substances. She was tied to a massive drug operation stretching from New York to Florida and Puerto Rico. And JayZ's crew, they've never been just about music. It's always been a mix of street ties and power moves.
When you started selling drugs?
I can't say. I don't like the way you're saying that. Let's say hustling. That sounds such a harsh way to put it.
But it is harsh.
And Desiree Desiree wasn't alone in that lifestyle. Her husband, Juan O.G. Perez, has serious cartel connections too. This guy's been tight with Jay since the 90s. Together, they co-founded the 40/40 Club, and later Jay made Juan the president of Roc Nation Sports. But their relationship goes way deeper than any corporate title. These two were locked in way before Roc Nation was even a thing. So now folks are wondering, what kind of business were Jay and Juan really handling back then? Because it sure wasn't just studio sessions and record deals. And if R. Kelly knows something about those old street dealings or how those connections slipped into the legal system, that might explain why so many powerful people suddenly want him gone. Kelly's being targeted because he's holding explosive dirt on the feds, the prison system, and even the Department of Justice. And right in the center of this tangled mess, JayZ, through his tight connection to Desiree Perez, a former federal informant with a deep criminal background. Now ask yourself, why would JayZ put someone like that in charge of Roc Nation unless there was something major at stake? If what Kelly and his team are claiming is even halfway true, then this goes way beyond rap beef. We're looking at a serious cover-up, a whole network of power players trying to keep the truth hidden, and they're willing to take someone out to make sure it stays that way. But trust, it's not over yet. This story is just starting to unravel, and we'll be here for every twist. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your thoughts. Do you think R. Kelly knows too much? And is JayZ really involved? Let's talk about it. See you in the next one. Stay sharp.